Today we're going to read an article from Junior Scholastic called Haiti in Crisis. You can follow along with the paper copy that is on your desk. It starts on page 4 and 5. In October, Hurricane Matthew slammed into southern Haiti with all of nature's fury. When the massive storm system hit the nation in the Caribbean Sea, it brought raging waters and 145-mile-per-hour winds that carried away almost everything in their path. During the storm, residents of Les Cayes watched as a man was blown off a ledge into rushing water, then killed by a falling wall. In another town, wind ripped the roof off Destine Roosevelt's home before he could get his children to safety. The house crumpled on top of them. Once the hurricane ended, the country was left ravaged. In one region, so few structures were still standing that hundreds of people had to move into caves. The smell of death lingered over everything. Our country has collapsed, one boy told the New York Times. All told, Haiti's strongest storm in a decade killed more than 1,000 people and left nearly 175,000 homeless. Some 1.4 million Haitians, about 13% of the population, required assistance with food, shelter, and medical care. This is an all too familiar scene in Haiti, which never seems to recover from one disaster before it's hit by another. In 2010, an earthquake killed 316,000 Haitians and displaced 1.5 million. 6 years later, Hurricane Matthew is yet another setback for one of the most long suffering nations on earth. Ongoing problems. Why can't Haiti catch a break? Part of the reason is geography. The island of Hispaniola, which Haiti shares with the Dominican Republic, is regularly hit by tropical storms that tear across the Caribbean Sea. Other Caribbean countries are also hit hard, including the Dominican Republic, but Haiti is particularly vulnerable because it is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. More than 40% of its people are unemployed. Almost 60% live on less than $2.40 a day. And because so many people are poor, they cannot build houses strong enough to survive each storm. Environmental damage adds to the problem. Poor Haitians have cut down many of the country's trees for fuel. This has left mountain slopes bare, leading to devastating floods during intense storms. Haiti's vulnerability also boils down to the government's inability to provide basic services, says Brian Concanon of the Institute for Justice and Democracy in Haiti. Haiti's leaders have not been able to help their people prepare for disasters, get to shelter, and rebuild afterwards. Why? Haiti's government is notoriously unstable. For example, Haiti has been without an elected president since February. This is in part because the 2015 presidential elections were marred by corruption and violence, and the results had to be thrown out. New elections were originally scheduled for October 9th, only to be postponed to November 20th due to the hurricane. A troubled past. Many of Haiti's problems stem from its past. Most Haitians are descendants of African slaves who were brought over by French colonizers. The slaves rebelled and in 1804 declared independence. In exchange for France's lost property, its plantations and slaves, Haiti was forced to pay France an enormous independence debt, worth about $23 billion in today's money. They were still paying interest on that debt until after World War II, says journalist Jonathan Katz, who has long covered Haiti. According to Concanon, this had long-term consequences. The pressure of paying off the debt kept Haiti from investing in building up the country, he explains. The United States had become independent in 1776, just 28 years before Haiti. In contrast to the United States, Haiti was unable to create the basic building blocks of society in its first century. Not even sustainable food production, Concanon says. Amid the chaos, a long string of tyrants were able to seize power over the nation. Dictators stole left and right from the country, Concanon says. Two who are fresh in Haitian memory are Francois Duvalier, called Papa Doc, and his son Jean Claude, Baby Doc, who succeeded him. From 1957 to 1986, they jailed, tortured, and killed their opponents while stealing millions of dollars from the treasury. It's not an accident of history that the government is so poor and weak, says Katz. This is a process that's been going on for 200 years. When aid hurts. Today, Haiti is in dire need of help. The United States has pledged $14 million in aid so far. Other countries have promised to pitch in too. As much as foreign aid can make a difference in Haiti, it hasn't always been as effective as it could be. For example, after the 2010 earthquake, billions of dollars poured in from around the world. Almost all of it went towards temporary measures like tents and emergency food. None, says critics, were used to make lasting changes in the way the country builds its structures and feeds its people. Foreign aid has also turned deadly. Since 2010, more than 10,000 Haitians have died of cholera introduced to Haiti by United Nations peacekeepers. The forces had been brought in to end riots after a military coup. One United Nations unit carelessly dumped untreated sewage into streams, which spread the disease to distant areas. Now, floodwaters from Hurricane Matthew are spreading it farther, contaminating other communities. Long-term goals. As of mid-November, residents of Western Haiti were just beginning to pick up the pieces from the hurricane. International aid workers struggled to reach places that were inaccessible because of flooding and collapsed bridges. The situation remains serious. Between 60 and 100% of crops were destroyed in the affected areas, says Concannon. The risk of famine is severe. In the long run, Kat says Haiti needs to be able to sustain itself so that it doesn't have to rely on foreign handouts. Haitians need to create the proper institutions to do things for themselves: hospitals, schools, police, and fire departments, all the things that a country needs to function. There's no way to do this, Kat says, without a real government. Haitians hope the long-delayed elections will finally jumpstart this process. Concannon says he is cautiously optimistic about them. He praises the fact that Haiti recognized that its former elections were flawed and that it needed to start over with a clean slate. Concannon also believes that officials did a better job than in the past of getting people to shelter before Hurricane Matthew hit, saving many lives. In the end, he says, what's important is this is an opportunity for the Haitian government to do better than before and to set the stage for the future. The words to know are cartel, a group that controls a product's price and distribution and limits competition; a coup, the violent overthrow of a government by an armed group; diplomatic, related to managing the affairs between nations; embargo, an official ban on trade or other commercial activity with a particular country; famine, an extreme lack of food in a region leading to suffering and starvation; federation, a group of states with a central government but independence in internal affairs; referendum, a vote on one issue by an entire population; sanction, an official action taken against a government as punishment; treasury, the funds or revenue of a country, an institution, or a society; tyrant, an absolute ruler who wields power in a cruel and oppressive way.